Can you solve all these Class 10 English poem Chapter 4 How to Tell Wild Animals questions? Discern means to. You're right. Decide is the correct answer. Meaning of keres. Great job. Hug is the accurate answer. Synonym of discern. Great thinking. Recognize is the right choice. Meaning of intrude. Excellent choice. Encroach is the right answer. Meaning of ultimate. Well picked. Final is the correct answer. Who loses his ball? Excellent. The boy is a brilliant choice. Synonym of strolling. Correct. Walking leisurely is the right answer. Meaning of desperate. Exactly. Hopeless makes sense. The poem is written by. Nice work. You chose Carolyn Wells, and it is correct. How are the boy's eyes? Bravo. Desperate is the answer. Meaning of epistemology? Well reasoned. Knowledge is the correct choice. A hyena is a dasher animal. Good job. Scavenger works well here. Which creature gives hug? Nicely done. Bear is a solid answer. The animal which hugs you. Correct response. Bear is the most accurate answer. The boy remembers his days. Solid response. Young is a valid choice. Who comes with merry smiles? Valid point. Hyena is true. What is the tone of the poem? Smart pick. Humorous and light-hearted is the correct choice. The rhyme scheme of the poem is. Right choice. A babysik is the best answer. Where do we see the Asian lions? Well done. Eastern countries is the right choice. Roaming round is an example of. On track. Alliteration is the correct answer. Where has the boy lost his ball? Smart move. In the water is an accurate answer. Where can you find Asiatic lions? Nice selection. Eastern countries of Asia is the correct and valid answer. What meaning is the boy learning? Strong choice. Meaning of loss is the right answer. Which animal gives you an embrace? You chose bear, and it is correct. How is the Bengal tiger described? Perfect. Noble wild beast is the correct choice. Chameleon belongs to the family of. Sharp thinking. Lizard is the right choice. What does the poet say about money? Good thinking. External is the right answer. What could the poet buy for the boy? You got it? Your choice ball fits well. Which animal can we meet in our yard? Clear logic. Your choice bear is sound. Who smiles while catching their prey? Right again. Hyena is a valid answer. Which animals are the beasts of prey? Bravo. Both of them is the answer. What is the rhyme scheme of the poem? Great job. Eba is the accurate answer. What is the color of the Asian lions? Smart move. Brownish yellow is an accurate answer. What can be seen in the east of jungles? Right again. Asian lion is a valid answer. The face of which animal appears smiling? On track. Hyena is the correct answer. To which animal does the poet call noble? Nicely done. Bengal tiger is a solid answer. The animals live in the forest are called? Great thinking. Wild animals is the right choice. Which animal's roar is enough to kill you? Clear logic. Your choice, Asian lion, is sound. Which animal has black stripes on his body? Right choice. Tiger is the best answer. Which animal is confused with the crocodile? Good thinking. Hyena is the right answer. What is the meaning of roaming round? Wa. Solid response. Wandering is a valid choice. Who is the poet of the poem, The Ball Poem? Sharp thinking. John Berryman is the right choice. How does the boy feel when he loses his ball? Perfect. All of the above is the correct choice. Which animal is described as having spots? Nice selection. Leopard is the correct and valid answer. Which animal is mainly associated with Bengal? Well picked. Tiger is the correct answer. Which of the following animals lives on a tree? Good job. Chameleon works well here. Which animal do you find while walking in a yard? Correct response. Bear is the most accurate answer. Which animal sheds tears while eating its victim? Well done. Crocodile is the right choice. The poem, How to Tell Wild Animals, is written by. You got it? Your choice, Carolyn Wells, fits well. Hell only lep and lep here refers to whom? Nice work. You chose leopard and it is correct. In the poem, how is the bear described to attack? Strong choice. By hugging tightly is the right answer. What does the poet say about this world is made of? Exactly. Possessions make sense. Who is the poet of the poem How to Tell Wild Animals? Smart pick. Carolyn Wells is the correct choice. The poet's tone in the poem can best be described as well-reasoned. Humorous is the correct choice. Dash is described as a grand and majestic wild beast. You chose Asiatic lion, and it is correct. Which animal would you find in the jungles of the East? You're right. Asian lion is the correct answer. The poet has described the dasher of various wild animals. Excellent choice. Characteristics is the right answer. What technique does a leopard use to finish you to death? Excellent. Pounce on you is a brilliant choice. The hyena is said to be smiling. What poetic device is this? Valid point. Personification is true. Which animal changes its color according to its surrounding? Correct. Chameleon is the right answer. Which animal is described as giving a lep before attacking? Correct. Leopard is the right answer. What poetic device is used in "A noble wild beast greets you"?
Well-reasoned. Personification is the correct choice.
A noble wild beast greets you. Which animal is referred here?
Excellent choice. Bengal tiger is the right answer.
What animal does the poet describe as roaring while prowling? You got it. Your choice, lion, fits well.
How to tell wild animals suggests some dangerous ways to dash.
Good thinking. Identify wild animals is the right answer. The color of which animal's skin is yellowish with black stripes? Nice work. You chose tiger, and it is correct. What literary device is used in the poem's description of animals?
Correct response. All of the above is the most accurate answer. The poetess has used language in such a way that it generates dash.
Solid response. Humor is a valid choice. How to Tell Wild Animals is a brilliant poem penned down by Dash. Perfect. Carolyn Wells is the correct choice.
Which animal is known for eating its victim instantly in the poem? Bravo! Leopard is the answer.
What is the literary device used in "Who hugs you very, very hard"? Valid point. Hyperbole is true. The poet uses absurd logic such as, if he eats you, he's a lion, too. Good job. Add humor through irony works well here. Name the literary device used in the line. He hasn't any ears at all. Nice selection. Alliteration is the correct and valid answer. The repetition used in "He'll only lep and lep again" is an example of. Well done. Poetic license is the right choice. The word discern in line 6 of the extract means the opposite as dash. Strong choice. Overlook is the right answer. What literary device is used throughout the poem for a humorous effect? Exactly. Satire makes sense. The poet in the stanza refers to the jungles of Dash for the Asian lion. On track, east is the correct answer. A small lizard-like animal without ears or wings, as mentioned, is a dash. Excellent. Chameleon is a brilliant choice. What poetic device is employed in the line "Soon as he has leapt on you"? Right again. Poetic license is a valid answer. Which animal is she referring to when she says, "A noble wild beast greets you"? Great job. Bengal tiger is the accurate answer. Dash, da, and dash, have very deceptive appearances, according to the poet Carolyn Wells. Right choice. Hyenas and crocodiles is the best answer. And if there should you advance a large and tawny beast, dash is an example of. Smart pick. Enabled is the correct choice. What poetic device is involved in the line? And if there should you advance? Well picked. Inversion is the correct answer. In total, how many wild animals are described in the poem? How to Tell Wild Animals? Sharp thinking. Sen is the right choice. What poetic device is used in "If ever you should go by chance to jungles in the east"?
Smart move. Span is an accurate answer.
What figure of speech is used in "The leopard will do no such thing gay if he should leap at you"?
You're right. Irony is the correct answer.
Which literary device is used in the line? If he roars at you as you're dying, you'll know it is the Asian lion. Great thinking. Irony is the right choice.
State whether the following statement is true or false. 1. The extract tells us the similarities between tigers and leopards.
You chose false, and it is correct.
Select the appropriate option to complete the sentence. 1. The tone of the poet when telling how to identify a wild animal is both scary and dash.
Nicely done. Funny is a solid answer. How to Tell Wild Animals is a brilliant poem penned down by Dash. Clear logic? Your choice, Carolyn Wells, is sound.
How you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format?
Smart move. Contact Narayan Changda on Facebook is an accurate answer.